제가 여기 오기 전에는요.
Where shall I begin to speak of myself?
부모님이 사이가 안 좋으셨어요.
I did not get along with my parents.
사이가 안 좋으셨는데.
I did not live with my biological mother.
그러니까
I couldn't bear to be with her, and I was ill-treated by her.
제가 좀 못 견뎠거든요. 엄마 그때 좀 학대도 받았고.
I remained at home with my stepmother until I finished high school.
고등학교 때까지
My father told me to be patient with her. However, it was difficult. Every time she saw me, she would scold me. She said things that made me understand that she did not like me. And for this reason, I left home when I was 18 years of age. Seoul is difficult to describe. It is a modern metropolis crossed by the Hangang River, and it has glass-walled skyscrapers. It is a city of the present, looking toward the future. There are many young people who flock to the streets. The economy is in continual growth. The transportation system is among the most efficient in Asia. It is a dynamic city, a multicultural vocation. It is a city of great velocity. It does not want to waste time. It is a city where everything flows, like its river. It is like an artery through which the lifeblood flows. At night, when all takes on shadowy forms, when the rhythm of time no longer flows from frenetic work, seeking for success and gain, the people find themselves in the various locals. The traditional image of Korea is that of tea ceremonies, the silence and slow rhythm of pouring water and serving guests. One thinks of a land of smiles, fruit of that oriental spirituality that invites one to look beyond the evident. But on those night streets, all is ground up in a vortex of lights, sound, smells. Where is the heart of the city? Where can one hear its beat? Perhaps it is a city with too many souls. Perhaps it was built and transformed too fast. Surely it is an optimistic city. Whoever looks toward the future is always so.
그래서 이제 집을 나오게 됐어요. 19살 때.
I succeeded in escaping from home, but I had neither money nor a place where to go.
집을 나오기는 됐는데 막상 갈 데가 없는 거예요. 돈도 없고.
Then I went to a chat room. It was a means of making money. I did not know where to find a job, nor a place where I could be taken in. So it was that I encountered a man whom I had met in the chat room. I spent 3 days with him between a motel and the internet cafe. At the end, he left me. I was alone again without money. I roamed around everywhere, but I did not know what to do.
그러다가 3일 만에 절 버리더라고요. PC방에다가.
Prostitution is linked to the entertainment industry. It is illegal and fought against by the police. Once the girls enter this spiral, it is difficult for them to escape. They are trapped. When they succeed in running away from it, there are very many difficulties. Legal problems to be resolved, medical care to be supported. They received information about our case from the police and counselling centres. The first help we offer is that of rectifying their legal standing. This is done thanks to the help of professionals in the field. The girls are between 19 to 24 years of age and live in the Main House community. Here, they find themselves alongside about 10 girls who are former prostitutes or other former students from our group home. The FMA offer them a year of formation at Cafe Main, not far from Main House, so that they will be able to enter into the workplace. Furthermore, these girls are preparing for state exams for the recognition of studies or for professional certification. Finally, they are being cancelled through different therapies.
그래서 그런 걸로 되게 그런 거에 저는
I thought that it would be impossible for me to work in a cafe as a barista. But the sisters who administer this cafe offered me and other girls work to help us out. It was a good opportunity. In this cafe, the busier crowds come during the lunch hour. But we always find time later to sit and drink a cup of tea to take away the tiredness. It is the happiest time because we go back to work full of life and new energies. Working in the cafe, we earn a bit of money, and the sisters help us to insert ourselves into the workplace. The youngest come to learn, and we hope to open 1, 2, or 3 other branches of Cafe Main. For this reason, we do our best and we commit ourselves with all our strength.
게 저희 몫이라 생각하고 열심히 하고 싶고 열심히 하고 있습니다.
Pak Ha's words suggest the possibility of a different path. But in the consumer society, many tend to consider their lives as something to be bought or sold. All can be acquired, even love. All can be sold, even one's own body.
그 돈을 가지고 서울로 올라왔어요.
I tried to look for work and a place to live, but no one wanted a girl of 18 years around.
집을 가출한
No one
여자애들
listened to me. And therefore I met another man who told me he would find work and a place to live for me.
찾아서 왔는데
I knew I shouldn't believe him since I had already been abandoned. But since I was so tired, I followed him anyway.
이미 다른 여자애를
I had sexual relations with him and he paid me. With this money I came to Seoul to look for a house for runaway girls that I had found on the internet. But the man with whom I was supposed to have stayed already had another girl, and so he presented me to his friend so that I could live with him. I stayed there a year without thinking of anything, just having fun. He did not tell me to leave, and not knowing how long I would have stayed with him, I met other men. I went to bed with them and did not have good relationships with them. I stayed there a year and a half, and then someone spoke to me about Main House, and I decided to quit and to come here. These girls who have looked for the affection and attention of someone by putting themselves up for sale did not have only a mistaken idea of love. They had a mistaken idea of themselves. In learning to love themselves, they learned to love others. Main House is connected to the Ministry for Equal Opportunity in the Family and networks with the territory. We support the young people who enter into this house from a legal, health and psychological point of view to help them to get out of this vicious cycle. Young former prostitutes arrive in this house. They are wounded morally and physically. I believe that the greatest good that we can do for them is that of being present and close to them like a sister or mother. The FMA are courageous. They look at the problem and face it, not making believe that it does not exist. They do not turn away from it. They are not seeking Magdalenas to be saved. They are there because every person has a right to a dignified life. They restore to these young people a key to interpret themselves and their lives. When a young person has received what she needs, she has the possibility of specializing in something for which she has an inclination, such as hairdressing, pastry making, or other. In order to obtain work, she passes through the self-support center. The girl is accompanied until she's completely autonomous.
원래 전에 있던 여자였는데
Here, they treat me
그애가 다시
better
온
than in my own
거였어요.
family. They welcomed me with warmth and affection. Even the other girls who are in this house treat me well, and I am grateful to them.
준 거예요. 그러니까
Now I am studying to become a nurse and to be able to care for others. Some of the girls who are in the main house got to know the FMA during their stay at Mazzarello Center, where they had been sent by the court. Mazzarello Center is in fact a rehabilitation center. The girls who are here should be in a juvenile delinquent center. At Seoul, the institutions for the protection are only 3, one of which is the Mazzarello Center. I always choose to send the girls to Mazzarello Center because here, once the problem of eating, sleeping and dressing is resolved, they may study and regain their dreams. Among the 8 girls that I have sent here, only 1 ran away after 2 days. All the other instead obtained the highest results. Mazzarello Center does not in any way resemble a prison. The girls have much autonomy and are in condition for self-correction when they make a mistake. The sisters have understood that before else, these girls must reacquire the awareness of their own capacity. They learn to understand the value of limits. That is, not being submitted to enforced rules, but to find the just balance between the good for self and the good of others.
저는 여기에서 아이들 전체 생활을
The first thing that we do is to have the girls get acquainted with the house so that they may feel loved with the hearts of Don Bosco and Mother Mazzarella. To make them understand that in this house there is the possibility to study, to obtain various certification, to help them to understand that there are good people here who want to help them to grow and to care for them. Many of these girls have experienced being in problematic families. There are those who have suffered violence, those who did not find family affection in their homes, those who decided to run away.
새엄마랑 살면서
I was living with my stepmother and I was mistreated by her even when I did nothing bad. She then died of cancer. I roamed around and with a group of friends we began to enter into a life of evil ways. I was arrested and sent to Mazzarello Center. At the beginning, I did not succeed in adapting to the environment here. I cried a lot and did not speak. Gradually, I understood the importance of having a family. Since I no longer had contact with my former friends, I was able to reflect on myself, my existence, and I understood what I wanted from life, what I wanted for the future. Here I met my birth mother, who had left our home when I was very young. I went to the movies with her and we went bowling. I did the usual things that one does with her own mother, but that I had never been able to do when I was young. There is always an accessible point of good in the young person. There is always the possibility of turning the page. This seems to be the mission of the FMA at the Mazzarello Center. To restore to the young people a blank page and to give them the possibility of writing in the first person their dreams desires, and all that they want to realize. The sisters collaborate with other institutions. Working in a coordinated manner is in fact more efficient. It is like the rice in the rice paddies waiting for the best time to come out of the water, allowing it to be warmed by the sun, and which curves itself when it is time to be harvested. So it is with these girls who ask for the same passion and patience of the rice, the same care, the same warmth.
다른 사람들한테 또 나눠주고
Here one feels that much can be done. Now I have a dream. I like to cook, and I would like to become a chef and help other girls who, like me, have suffered.
풀어주고 싶어요. 다른 사람들한테.
I want to be able to give others what I have received here. Gradually then, we can try to have them reconcile themselves with their families to rebuild relationships with their relatives.
Their
mother was not there. I was alone. I went to work from early morning until late at night and could not interest myself in their lives. They began to frequent bad companions. Even here, I was partially responsible. If after she completes her studies and returns home, I want to live with my daughter and try to be affectionate with her to fill the gaps of her infancy. My daughter had run wild, but since coming here, she's studying diligently and has improved. A year has already passed, and when she comes to visit us, she speaks with us. The support of a family, dealing with relationship and economic problems, is what the community of Casa Nazareth offers.
살아온 지
5 years have passed since our family broke up. My husband fell into economic difficulties. Then he began to get drunk and be violent. One night I decided to leave home with only one suitcase and went with my children to Masan, where I found hospitality in a Catholic refuge. We stayed there 6 months. Then we moved close to the house of my sister at Bupyeong in a basement. We lived there in one room for 2 years in extreme poverty. We fixed ourselves by bringing home those things that people had discarded, a little table, dishes and bowls. I had hoped that my husband had changed, and I told my children to trust him. We got back together, but it did not last for even 3 months because he began to get violent again, and life was even more difficult than before. My daughter told me that it would have been much better if we 3 were alone, beginning again.
엄마랑 나와서 살 때는 아니면
When I was with my mother during the time in which we left my father's house, we went through a very difficult period from an economic point of view. I was going through a time of adolescent crises. I had 1,000 needs. I wanted to study, to travel, and I was asking my mother to do everything. It was very difficult for her to try to satisfy me, and there was much tension. We established ourselves at Daejeon. We did not know where to go, so my sister lent me the money to rent a room. So it was that we spent another 2 years there. Ki Ju-min went to high school, but we did not have anything to live on. I could not pay the tuition and could not ask for help from anyone because I had already done so often. My daughter went to check out Nazareth House and returned after a week. She told me that it was very beautiful and she wanted to go back there. When I arrived at Nazareth House, they asked me what I wanted in life. They said that they would have done what they could to help me to bring my dreams to reality, such as giving me the possibility to study Spanish. At the beginning, I had difficulty in becoming part of a community where I could not always do what I wanted, but my desires were met, frequently even to the point of providing food.
제 욕구대로 행동하기가
Living far from home, I understood
어려운데
how precious my family was.
신혼들은 그걸 다 헤아려 주시고
I understood that also the weekends spent with my mother were a precious time, and I also understood that remaining at Nazareth House helped me to mature.
그래서
우리나라는 모든 아이들에게 교육이 평등하다고 하지만
Korea wants to offer a level of education that is equal for all young people, but in reality this is not the way it is. I came to this house so that the girls could receive more and to be of support and encouragement in their growth, helping them to experience maternal love.
이 집에 항상 오게 되었습니다.
Nazareth House is a place for growth, for knowing one's own inclinations and for regaining the sense of relationships founded on reciprocal love and trust.
대전 나자렛 집은
Nazareth House in Daejeon was opened in homage to our founder in 1990, 2 years after the centenary of Don Bosco. We are not only the sisters who work for the education and growth of the girls, but we collaborate with the territory, school and various government offices. Korea is a young nation. The FMA know that in a society where everything shines, where frequently the smiles are plastic, the young people continue to look for happiness. They seek it inside themselves. They want to find it in something that does not wither. The girls whom we met and who have decided to give us the gift of their testimony want to heal their wounds and fill their emptiness. Day by day they are healing. Every day is the dawn of a new rebirth.
더 좋은